Hi friends, so in my recent video of my crazy crumb blocks, I was shared with you how I was able to make 24 blocks out of the scraps that I had showed you. I will put that video at the end as well. If you remember from my previous video, this little bin here was almost full. So I only have a little bit of these little pieces left, which is huge. I have 9 big blocks, all different sizes here, you know. They're just like crumbs and scraps, right? So I'm going to cut blocks out of these and show you how many I make. But first I have to pull out my ruler farm. So I have my 3.5, my 4.5 inch ruler, my 5 and my 6. So basically I'm going to let the size of these scrap panels decide what size blocks I'm going to cut, and they're for no particular reason, not for a specific project. They're just so I have and I can use them for future projects. Okay, so I have all 4 rulers and I have this smaller panel here. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to place my rulers around and see if I could optimize my blocks. Just play around with it and just see, because I don't want teeny tiny seams along, you know, the edges. I mean, if you can't help it, then you can't help it. But I could see if I can get a 3.5 inch here. I can get a 4.5, and you don't want to make more scraps than you have to. So I think in this case, I'm going to have to make 2 4.5 here, and then I'm going to have to use my 3.5. So we're just planning, right? So we're just going to work at one section at a time, and you want to be close to the edge, like I said, because you really do not want to make any more scraps. And if this winds up, you know, let's see, yeah, so that is as close as you can get right there to 4.5, and there's 0, well, along here there'll be 0 extra scraps. So that is the goal here. So I'm going to play around with these and I'll be back. Okay friends, so I was able to cut out 5 blocks, right? 1 4.5 and 4 3.5. So one of the pieces I had taken the scraps and sewn it together to make another 3.5, but I only needed a little piece. So how adorable are they? And these are actually the scraps that came out from that one block. So we didn't really make, these are really just the only scraps that we made for yourself, because these guys are going to go back into the pile and I will add them to another block. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through the other blocks, or the other, yeah, I guess the other blocks, and I'm going to cut some more of these out and I'll show you how many I was able to get. Okay friends, let's check this out. So you remember that I did 14 of these pink floral blocks, right? So these are all different sizes. They're 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, and 6. So all of those. So I managed to, from the flip and stitch blocks, the panels I showed you, to make 3 6x6 blocks, 5 5.5 inch blocks, 6 3.5 inch blocks, and 14 4.5 inch blocks. This is a popular size when you're working with weird edges. So not too bad. That is a total of 42 blocks from those panels, and lots of fun things you could make with these, right? And let's talk about this project for a little bit. Okay. So you saw all those big panels. These were the scraps that were left over from all those big panels I showed you, right? So this is where Joe wants to know, do you keep these pieces and build on them to make more blocks? Because there's a couple of nice pieces in here, right? So what do you do? Do you throw these out? Do you donate them? Do you use them? So there's a lot of good pieces in here, I'm going to tell you. So for me, you guys already know what I'm going to do. So these are really great viable pieces to make more blocks. And I'm not making these in quilts. I'm probably going to use these in smaller projects because of all the seams, right? But this is not really bad because look at all those big blocks. And there are some pieces in here that are really great. So Joe wants to know what you would do with these. Make sure you leave a comment and let me know what you think. And thank you guys so much for watching. This has really been awesome. We made 42 different size blocks. And I'm going to go through this pile and see if I can make a few more. And again, thank you guys so much for your support. Thank you for coming on this super scrappy journey with me. And I hope you appreciate it. And I will share with you anything I make with these because these are so much fun. So again, I will be talking to you soon. And you guys take care.